Pioneer Seeds is celebrating 100 years of business with hybrid grains. This Tuesday, as part of its anniversary festivities, the company held an open house at its Mankato Research Station on Highway 22. Evan Berg was there to learn more about where the company started and where it's going.
After 100 years in the business, Pioneer Seeds says there's a lot to celebrate about the current state of the market for hybrid crops.
So this is a celebration of agriculture, and it's a 100-year celebration of the founding of our company, Pioneer Hybrids, by Henry Wallace and his partners.
The company claims in 1926 the average corn yield in the United States was 26 bushels per acre. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said 95% of corn grown in the country is now hybrid. And Pioneer says that average is now 190 to 210 bushels an acre.
Corn, prior to 1926, had a history of open pollination and not a lot of science that was applied to it.
Even now, the company said it is continuing to look for ways to improve crops like corn, soybeans, and other grains for farmers through selective breeding and new technologies.
We have new and novel ways to control insects in corn. Helps us control insects without spraying. We have disease tolerance that is coming into our corn that's bred in, so we have healthier leaves and higher grain yield. And we have stability genes that are coming in that not only promote high yield, but they stabilize yield.
For some employees, the industry's continued success in pushing forward with new technologies has been encouraging.
It's very fulfilling. It is. We have a great industry that supports farmers. And we have great farmers. They're very progressive. They move fast.
In Mankato, Evan Berg, KEYC News Now.
The company says its Mankato research site is one of 5 sites across Minnesota and Wisconsin that have helped it to research a variety of corn and soybean hybrids.